house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 19 updates and spoilers. First of all, I want to wish my sister Kristen a happy 30th birthday. She doesn't watch these, but I love you. Okay. And our house guest of the day is Corinne Christina. And Corinne wants to know, who do I want to win? Kevin. I know Kevin hasn't really done anything this season, but I mean game-wise, but he's just entertained me to no end. So I will say Kevin. And I can't get behind the bullying strategy of like ganging up on one person, everybody ganging up on one person. It's gross. So Kevin. Okay. And Corinne also wants to know, would Cody be running the show if Paul never entered the house this season? That's a great question. Now, I think that Cody would have been like the leader like Paul is, but I don't think he would have lasted as long. I think it would have held up for a while. He would have stayed, made it to the jury without being evicted and brought back. But I think people would revolt eventually because he does not have that authority like Paul has because he's a vet, you know? Paul has that like mystique around him and it makes people want to listen to him. Cody does not have that. So I think Cody would be mutinied at some point. But that's a great question, so thank you for asking. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so yesterday, Paul dropped a bomb on Alex. He said, I can't use the power veto on you. And she was pissed! Oh my god. If you want more details on that conversation, check out the end of yesterday's spoiler. I talked about it there. But somebody made a good point on Twitter. This reminded me so much of Lane telling Brittany about the brigade. He's just like, hey, so we have this alliance called the brigade. It's like that. So anyway, Paul goes up to the HOH room after and he tells Josh and Christmas all about his conversation with Alex. Fake cries and all. He's just like, hello. Okay. He's just like, I'm sorry. He's just like, I feel so bad that I had to tell her that, blah, blah, blah. So he says, I took all the heat for it, but I told her that I'd try to convince you guys to keep her. Wow, spin doctor. So I guess you didn't take all the heat for it. That's so ridiculous. It reminds me of, I know I'm doing a lot of asides right now, but I just want to like paint the picture here. Like when you're getting rid of clothes and you feel guilty that you have to get rid of certain stuff, so you pass it off to your sibling and you're like, hey, why don't you take a look at these and see if you want to keep any of them? And then it's on them to get rid of them, right? It's like that. So he is totally pushing that blame onto Josh and Christmas, and Paul's saying, Alex called me selfish, but she doesn't know that I've been protecting you two this whole time, and he tells them, if she asks you for your vote, you guys have to give her a straight no. Don't give her any hope. Again, way to take the heat, Paul. You're gonna leave it all on them. So then Paul's like, you guys can't act any different around her because she doesn't know we're all together. And he also says it's just really tough on him because Alex is not an enemy. Are you done barking, miss? So Josh is like, Alex is not my enemy either. So Josh is clearly not happy about how this all went down. So he goes down to the Apple Lounge by himself. And he says to the cameras, he's pissed because he feels he's been genuine and real this whole season. And other people, meaning Paul, have been really manipulative. Josh is so aware of what's happening now. It's crazy, but he's not going to do anything about it. It's so frustrating to watch. But at the same time, he's saying like he's been real and Paul's been manipulative. But that's the game. Like, I can't fault Paul for being manipulative. It's all these other people's faults for going along with it. So he's saying my allies are trying to work everything to their benefit. Do something about it! He's not happy how Paul has now twisted this situation with Alex. He feels all the blame is coming on to himself and Christmas, which is accurate. So that, well, not completely. I mean, she's pissed at Paul too, but perception here. So Christmas comes in and Josh is like, I need a minute. So she leaves. Again, Josh is saying the way this is being done isn't fair. So then Paul goes in, and Josh is like, I need a minute. And Paul's like, are you okay? Why are you tripping? So Paul does end up leaving. He comes back like 10 minutes later, but before he comes back, he's talking to Christmas, and they're discussing how Josh is too emotional, and Paul's like, I don't understand how he's so emotional when all he's had to do the past few weeks was be a vote. You know, he's saying he's the one who just had to have that tough conversation with Alex. where he passed the blame off to Josh and Christmas. So Paul goes back into the lounge with Josh. Again, he's asking him, like, what's bothering you? Josh is not really giving him any answers. So Paul's like, I just had to do the hardest shit ever, and it effing sucked. I did not want to have that conversation with Alex. So Paul's all, woe is me. And Josh is like non-responsive at first. He's just letting Paul do all the talking. And then Josh is like, I just feel numb to everything. So, oh my god, he's sitting there with his sunglasses on. Josh was like basically crying all day yesterday. He was like in and out of crying every 5 seconds. So then Paul's telling Josh, dude, we've only got like 10 days left. Don't be tripping out in front of Christmas or she's gonna start freaking out. So then Paul's telling Josh, like, people are gonna get over stuff in the jury house. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine, little buddy. Alright, so then a few minutes later, Josh walks over to Alex in the kitchen and he's like, what's up, ninja? So Alex says, Paul just told me that he's not gonna use the veto on me. So Josh is like, well, do you want to talk? And she's like, no, I don't want to cry again. She's like, crying is bad and I don't want to do it. So then she's saying she doesn't want to talk game anymore. And one of the funniest parts of yesterday was when Josh yelled out to her, don't cry, and she's like walking away. Really, Josh? So then after Alex walks away, Josh starts crying at the kitchen counter. So sad. He's just like, ugh. Okay. So then Josh goes up to the HOH room to cry under the covers. After he emerges, he talks to the cameras. He says, Paul has convinced everyone that he hasn't done anything. All the attention is on me and Christmas. And she's so freaking naive to it. She's playing right into Paul's shit. Yup. Perfect read on that. So then he's like, do I ruin my game and expose the misfits, meaning himself, Paul, and Christmas, to Alex? He's saying it's not fair that Paul hasn't taken any of the blame here. So I'm not sure at this point if he means like keeping Alex and going after Paul together, or if he just means sending Alex to the jury with all this information to like poison the jury against Paul, because I don't think he would have the votes to get rid of Alex if he like told her all this stuff first. Like, I don't see how that could happen, but whatever. So then a little while later, Josh was talking to the camera again in the HOH room, and he's like, Christmas is not taking me to final 2. That's for sure. And he kept repeating it like over and over again. He says, Christmas is taking Paul to the final 2. That's why she's letting Paul do all this stuff and get away with it. So then he's like, oh, guys, this is like, whoa. He says, they want to keep playing selfish? I might just ask for a split vote this week and then keep Alex. Ah! Okay, so he says, I'll flip this house upside down in 9 days. I'll tell them to split the vote in front of Alex, and then I'll send Kevin out. No. Will he actually do that, though? I don't know if he's got the guts to do it. So he's asking God, like, give me patience. I don't want to blow up on these people right now. So then Josh and Christmas were in the kitchen. He's all, like, mopey again. She's like, what's going on with you? You know, you've been in a funk lately. What's happening here? So he's like, I need a minute. And he's been saying that to her for a while now, so she's just like, what the hell? Like, you keep saying that. So he's like, I'll talk to you when I'm ready. I want to go find Alex. Christmas is like, she's like washing dishes in this moment. She tells him, leave Alex alone. Paul was just telling Christmas that they need to keep Josh away from Alex because they don't want him starting any trouble with her. So she's just like, you need to stay away from her. So then Christmas is pissed. She's throwing around dishes in the sink as Josh is walking away, presumably to find Alex. She's pissed. So she throws a dish down, looks over to see if he looks back. She's angry. Okay, so then Josh visits Alex in the rose bedroom. So he's like, can we talk now? And she's like, well, I don't want to talk any game, but we can talk about anything else. That's fine. So Josh is like, I just don't feel good. He says he didn't want to go against Jason. He doesn't want to go against Alex now. He's made genuine connections with them. And he's telling Alex, like, I want you to know that I really do love you. And I appreciate your friendship and everything you've done for me. So at this point, Alex starts crying. I don't know if it's real or not. Who freaking knows at this point? And Josh obviously is also crying. That's for real. So he's like, I'm really sorry, and when you get out of here, you're gonna see that I've been honest. And he's like, I don't want to talk about anybody else's games, but I just want you to know I'm in a really effed up position right now. So then Alex is like, you guys don't need to cry. I'm the one that needs to cry. You know, I'm the one going home here. You guys want me out? I'm out. So Alex leaves the room, and Josh starts sobbing. He's like, I effing hate this place. Okay, so then a few minutes later, Josh is trying to talk to Alex again in the money bedroom, and through tears, he's like, Tiger, I love you. I'm so sorry. I felt like I was watching a damn, like, 80s romantic comedy. I don't know, like a John Hughes movie or something. Maybe he's about to pull out a boombox. I don't know. Maybe a boombox with, like, the circus music slowly. I don't know. But anyway, Alex is like, I'm tired of it. You know, Jason and I trusted you guys, and you screwed us both over. So then she goes into the have-not room, and Josh follows Alex into the have-not room. And she's like, I don't want to talk. So they're both crying. And they're both also telling each other to stop crying. It's really ridiculous. So then Alex is like, you guys are not my friends. Jason Dent is my only friend. And then she really goes ham. She's like, you guys are going to win. And you didn't do anything, and you're going to win. We worked really hard, and we're not. You weren't going to win anyway if you were going to go to the end with Paul. Come on. But she's really pissed that somebody else is going to get second place next to Paul instead of her. So she says, you know what? If you make it to the end, I will give you, like, fair consideration for my jury vote, but don't talk to me anymore. So Josh is like, I don't care about the vote. Like, I want to be your friend. And she's like, no, I don't want to be your friend. Kevin should be leaving, not me. So then she's like, oh, so you guys think that I'm too hard to beat? That's the shittiest thing anyone's ever said. Girl, I can think of quite a few things you've said this season that are way, way shittier than that. But then she's like, do you go to the Olympics to play the shittiest players? No. Do you go to the Super Bowl to play the shittiest teams? No. So then she's like, just leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Vote me out. I'll give you guys a fair vote except for Kevin. Bitter, bitter, bitter. Okay, so then Christmas freaking hightails it into this room with her one crutch. She's like, shh, shh, shh. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Okay, moving on. Christmas busts into the room to see what's going on. She just stands in the doorway for a minute, and then she goes back to the kitchen. So Paul comes up to her, and he's just like, what the hell's going on back there? So Christmas tells him Josh keeps crying to Alex, and she doesn't want to talk to him. It's really bad. It's like a freaking breakup gone wrong. I agree about that. But Christmas is like, she says, if he wants to play the victim role, I'll make him make the split decision this week. Oh yeah? Well, you'll be sorry if you do. So then she's like, I think Josh is making us all look bad to Alex, and if he wants to make this more difficult, I can make this more difficult. Again, you will be sorry if you do that, girl. So then Josh finally leaves Alex alone, and Christmas is pissed. She's still washing dishes in the kitchen. She pulls Josh into the Apple Lounge to talk. Right meow! And she slams the door shut. She's still got freaking soap bubbles from washing the dishes on her one hand. It's really weird. But Christmas was like, do you want me to go home? We can make it so that she, meaning Alex, stays. And Josh is like, no. He's crying, of course. And Christmas is like, all right, here's your 3 options. You tell me which one you want to do. So Josh is like, Christmas, she's going. And Christmas is just like, let me talk. Let me freaking talk. You know how she gets when people interrupt her. So Christmas lists out 3 options here. Number 1, we stick with the plan, and Alex goes home this week. Number 2, Paul uses the veto, I go up on the block, and you'll be the split decision. I guess she means tiebreaker vote. And then Kevin or her will go home. Okay. Number 3, Paul uses the veto. I'm the split decision. You decide who goes home. What? I don't get what the last one means. I don't know if she even knows what that means. If I was Josh, I'd be like, miss, can you clarify that last one? Because then she's like, think about that and tell me what you want to do. How can he give you an answer when that didn't make any sense? So then she storms out before Josh can even respond. He's like, and she's like out of there already. All right, so then Paul, meanwhile, is in the have-not room trying to do damage control with Alex because he doesn't know what exactly Josh was just saying to her. So he's like, I gotta make sure this is all good. So Alex is feeling really guilty about Jason going home last week and how she freaking missed that completely because she was so busy worrying about Paul being safe. So she's like, I want you to take Jason to the me, myself, and I behind the scenes thing instead of me. You know, that reward from the Power Veto competition. So Paul's like, well, I'm going to talk to Bobby and I'll see if both of you guys can go, like, instead of me. Anything for that jury vote. So then Paul is like, I'm so sorry that I'm letting you down. And Alex starts crying hard about putting Paul above Jason in the game. I think this crying was actually legit because she was all like, and you just can't make that shit up. So she was like, I'll give you a fair assessment at the end for my vote, but as friends, not cool. She says, I understand the game move, but not as a friendship move. Oh my God. Let it go. So then she's like, Paul, you will have my vote over anybody else, and I'm also going to try to convince Jason to vote for you, but as friends, like, we're not cool right now. I think at one point she even told him it was going to take at least like a year for her to get over this. Are you kidding me? Are you shitting me? I feel like once she gets out of that house, she's going to be like, oh my God, Paul, give me all your social media followers. All right, so then Paul and Christmas gave Josh a talking to in the Apple Lounge. I mean, they were treating him like garbage. It is disgusting the way they talk to him. So they're like, this is just like an overview, because again, this was a long conversation. So they're like, stop talking to Alex. You're making everything worse. It doesn't have to be like this. And Josh is like, I can't have a conversation with her. That's like his big line this season. He probably has said that almost as many times as the word meatballs. But he's like, I just told her I love her. So then they're like, well, she's putting the pieces together, that we're working together, and you're ruining all of our games. So then Josh is like, all right, well, then make it a split vote this week, and I'll vote her out, so you guys don't have to get blood on your hands. Oh my God. Remember before he was saying, like, make a split vote and he'll vote out Kevin, which I don't want to see Kevin go, but like, oh my God. So then Paul's not into this idea. You really think he's gonna trust Josh right now to make a move like that? So he's like, no, we are not gonna do that. So Josh is then saying, well, if I messed up your game so badly, then just freaking vote me out next week. And they're like, Josh, stop it, come on. So they keep telling Josh, you need to get out of your own head, just stick to the plan. Basically, the translation of that, pay attention to what I'm saying, not what I'm doing. Okay, so then Paul leaves, and Christmas is apologizing to Josh for snapping and being aggressive. Was it like 180-something day long snap? I mean, really. Whatever. So Paul took this opportunity to go talk to Alex again. He's like, you know what? Josh and Christmas are tied up over there. I'm going to go talk to Alex. So he's like, Alex, do you want to try for the split vote this week? Because I think there's a chance that it could actually work. Wow! I thought you were telling everybody don't give her false hope. So again, he's trying to push that onto Christmas and Josh. And Alex is just like, no, I'm done. This house is full of counterfeits. And, you know, they talk for a while. Later, Alex is helping Paul figure out who he should take to the final two so that he'd have the best chance of winning. I think they eventually landed on Josh. I was like too puking on myself to really listen to that whole conversation. But anyway, throughout the night, Alex kept saying that Paul is a coward, he's a counterfeit son of a bitch, and not friendship. So she's obviously onto Paul's game at this point, but it's way too late for that. And she's still saying, like, she's gonna vote for him, she's gonna get Jason to vote for him, and she's gonna try to sway, like, the whole jury to vote for him. Whatevs. I think they're already gonna vote for him anyway, right? But anyway, she was also asking America to vote for her for America's favorite player because she's getting boned this week. No thanks. I'll vote for somebody else. To quote this season, you played yourself. Alright, so then Big Brother was like, wow, you guys are really boring. So Pop TV gave the house guests supplies to make some unicorn milkshakes. They also had some like horn hats. And Alex did not participate. She spent the rest of the night just like reading the Bible, praying her rosaries, talking to herself / the cameras. It kind of was like one of those people, like a crazy person on the subway. She was just like, those counterfeit son of bitches. It was like that. So then today, they had the power veto ceremony. Paul did not use it as planned, and Alex and Kevin are still on the block. But Paul was upset because I guess Alex tried to guilt him one last time, or maybe not the last time, but again, in her power veto speech. So Paul went and tried to talk to Alex. She shut him down immediately. She was like, you're selfish, get away from me. So then, here's the situation right now. We've got 5 people left in the house. You've got Alex and Kevin, who are isolated from everybody else, isolated from each other. Alex is just reading the Bible all day, praying for America's favorite player, and Kevin is just off doing Kevin things. Honestly, I am not against that, because I love when Kevin holds up his things, like his cologne, to the camera and like kisses it and dances with it. It's fun, but I wish he would get some more social time just for his own sanity. Yeah, and then you've got Josh third wheeling Paul and Christmas. It seems like those two are like getting closer. They're like cuddling and like sleeping in the same bed, really close. And Paul spent a lot of time today like playing with Christmas's hair. I think at one point Josh even asked them like, are you guys a showmance? And they were just like, what? No. But inside, Christmas was like, yes. Okay, so those 3, they're already moving on to next week. Well, it's going to be this week, but how they want to be mean to Kevin to throw him off for the HOH competition. I'm over it. Like, I'm over it. I'm over it. So anyway, that's where we're at right now. I don't know what the feed situation is going to be for the next few days, because they're having that extra eviction on Wednesday's show, but I think they're probably going to be filming it tomorrow, so I don't know if the feeds are going to go down tomorrow afternoon to like until Wednesday after the show. I don't know. There will definitely be a spoiler tomorrow. We'll take it from there. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until tomorrow, much love.